gender-based violence themselves, especially in the form of psychological violence, harassment, and threats. Therefore, they need more support and protection from their institutions and society and to effectively combat gender-based violence. Call to action for women parliamentarians. Women parliamentarians have a crucial role and responsibility to combat gender-based violence in Africa. Women parliamentarians can use their influence on to combat gender-based violence in various ways, such as adopting affirmative measures such as quotas to increase women's representation and leadership in politics and in decision-making, providing support and protection to women in politics, promoting awareness and education on gender-based violence and women's rights, such as using their platforms and networks to raise public and media attention and mobilize social movements, and advocating for and enacting laws and policies, as I said earlier. Women parliamentarians can also combat and coordinate with other stakeholders such as civil society, international organizations, and regional bodies to combat gender-based violence at all levels, from local to global. So women parliamentarians can also learn from and share best practices and experiences with other women parliamentarians across Africa and the world through platforms such as Women Political Participation. African Barometer 2021 is a good platform, and the Interparliamentarian Union and the African Women Leaders Network. Ending gender-based violence is not only a moral duty, but also a strategic investment for achieving gender equality, democracy, and sustainable development in Africa and beyond. So women parliamentarians have the power and potential to make a difference. So let us work with them to combat this issue. In conclusion, gender-based violence is a serious human rights violation, as we said earlier. So when women participation in politics, the involvement of women in political decision process is essential for achieving gender equality, democracy, and sustainable development. Gender-based violence and women participation in politics are interrelated and interdependent. Okay, gender-based violence can be a barrier to women participation in politics, as it reduces women's access, opportunity, and performance in politics. So gender-based violence is a serious human rights violation and a public health problem, such as negative impacts on their health, well-being, and dignity and empowerment. When women participation in politics is the involvement of women, women can be a solution for this critical continental and global problem of women. Women parliamentarians play an important role in addressing gender-based violence by influencing policies and norms that prevent and respond to gender-based violence. And ending gender-based violence is not only a moral duty, as we said earlier, it's a strategic investment for achieving gender equality. Women parliamentarians have the power and the potential to make a difference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shaw. May we give him another round of applause, please? I have a note with me that cough time, and it's now. So unfortunately, we cannot extend beyond this. We may break for cough now. So let's break for cough now. We'll quickly have a cough, come back, and we'll continue with the session. Thank you.
لا الصورة. خلاص.
Welcome back, Your Excellencies, honorable members. Before we went for a coffee break, we had a presentation from Dr. Tafis. Thank you so much. And at this juncture, allow me to call Honorable Sampa to make his presentation. Honorable Sampa is a member of parliament from in Lusaka, the capital city of Zambia. He is a former mayor of the city of Lusaka. He is a former deputy minister of finance in Zambia, and he has public education. Currently is the chairman of the PAP Committee on Audit and Public Finance, CAPA. He is also forgotten, he is the leader of opposition in Zambia. Welcome to the floor, Honorable Sampa.
Thank you very much.
Traduction, s'il vous plaît, en français.
Moderator has introduced me well, but I forgot to mention that I'm married and with 8 children. And the youngest being 2 weeks old. Reminds me, the whole year, each time I have to travel on duty out of the country, I have to apply for a visa to my wife to go. So she would always give me the visa, but on condition that during the festive season on Christmas, you must not go anywhere on duty. So when I was invited to this conference, when I applied, I thought she was going to say yes. But when I said it's a woman conference, she was quick to say, yes, go. And no further questions. Your Excellency, the Acting President of Pan-African Parliament, Dr. Ashabi Gayo, Your Excellency, the Third Vice President of PAP, Your Honorable Lucia Pesos, Your Excellency, the Women Caucus Chairperson, Honorable Amina Tijani Yaya, all the honorable women members present here and all the women present. I will not salute the men present, except the President have already done so, because this is a woman conference. Allow me to begin by quoting. I was searching online to find a good quote about women, and this is what I found. The greatest power of a woman is absolutely to be a woman. You have the power to create life. But this, everyone knows as an established fact. A woman carries a small living being inside of her. What is ever so often underestimated or unknown are all the superpowers that we acquire after this milestone is reached. So everything else after that begins with a woman having that baby, and then everybody powerful after that comes from that act. So women, the beginning of this theme is that women, you are very powerful. But allow me to start by asking a question from the same women who are present here. Who is the richest man in Africa? Who is the richest, wealthiest, richest man in Africa? Yes, madam. They tell me Aliko Dangote from Nigeria. Very correct. He's into cement and cereal and all the products. My last question is, who is the richest woman in Africa? Who is the richest woman in Africa? Tell me on the Africa. She knows, you know from the world. Tell me who you are about to say.
I was telling Oprah, but it's not. She's from
Oprah
United
Winfrey.
States.
Oprah Winfrey. No, she's American. So I was asking about Africa. Honorable.
Use your mic when you're responding.
Okay, it's for Lorunsho Alakija, born in Nigeria, businesswoman and a philanthropist. Group Managing Director of Rose Sharon Group and Executive Vice Chairman of Famfa Oil.
Honorable Esther, if it was an exam, we are disqualified. You're not allowed to Google. I heard there someone say Dos Santos. She used to, but all assets are frozen. That is another debate. But my point has been made. See, to find the richest man in Africa, everyone just said like that. A woman had to Google. So nothing much is written or proclaimed about women in Africa. That's the beginning, and hence the importance of this gathering. My presentation I'm picking up from my brother, the professor, who presented on political violence against women, constraints, challenges, and way forward. So I'll not repeat what he said, I'll just amplify certain aspects. So what is it? What is the violence, political violence against women? Is it physical, beating women? Or is it by propaganda? Or is it by emotion? I think all, well answered all. Having stood in many elections, in Zambia we do election individually, you have to stand up. The party only sponsors you, and then you end up in a park, sometimes with women, but I've gotten to observe a number of things. The violence on women can be physical, by propaganda, or emotional. The first thing a woman in my country, when they stand up to be an MP or for presidency, be assured the propaganda that will come first is that they are, I'll use this word with respect. In Zambia we call it ulo. They are, what word can be? In Zambia immediately they'll call them prostitutes to do propaganda on them, to say don't vote for that woman, she's a prostitute. It's a given. And they scandalize her because she's a woman, which is not fair. So that is violence. And it's violence that is propaganda, leads to emotional. Some women, if they are not strong, they even give up in their campaigns. Again, I was checking on the AU Africa Union Agenda 2063, which Her Excellency Lucia presented earlier this morning. This is a 50-year plan for the AU from 2013 to 2063 on what they envisage Africa to be. So they don't want war, it should be peace, economic independence. But one of the goals, number 17, is on gender or women empowerment. So the AU is the next goal under the Agenda 2063. Goal number 17, we all have to ensure that there is women empowerment. But what's the status quo? So much has been said about women empowerment. What is the current status quo in Africa? Women still not in big government positions. Yesterday we learned from the presentation there that there's only one woman president in Africa, if I'm not mistaken, Her Excellency of Tanzania, and Well, Ethiopia is ceremonial. Looking at executive powers. So here in Ethiopia, the Prime Minister has the executive powers. And in the world, we are told that there's only 26 women in top leadership of governments or heads of state. So we're still a way to go. When we look at progress in Africa, which countries, if we rank the countries who are doing well with gender balancing and who are not doing well, I searched and I found that if we have to pick on one country where they've made good progress, it's South Africa. I think it started when we had Her Excellency Nkosazana Zuma as the chairperson at the AUC. From there, I think a number of women have come up in key positions. Most banks, the chairpersons of banks of ABSA or Standard Bank, it's given that it's a woman. The countries that are least stated are Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. The women balancing or empowerment is on the extreme. All of us, our countries, if not mentioned, are somewhere in between, can do better. The constraints that women face in Africa and the challenges, I will just narrow it to two, which I think there are many, but I found two that are the biggest obstacle. This is culture and religious grounds. Some churches in my country, I don't know elsewhere, a woman is not even allowed to stand on the podium like this. They're just meant to be listeners to the men. So if that religion says so, how will the woman ever be a leader in that religion? Some cultures as well in my country, most African countries, women, the culture has been brought up, the woman should never speak where men are. The women should not stand up. They should take the back row. Their role is just to help a man. Until Africa overturns these norms and cultural norms, it will always be difficult to get the 50-50 balancing of men and women. What's the way forward? I think the way forward, African countries and parliaments should look at passing laws or bills that will fight GBV, gender-based violence, or political violence on women. A country, for instance, if it passed a law that anyone found beating a woman during political campaigns, the punishment should be life imprisonment. So there should be such laws enacted in countries. Then you will see that political violence against women will be reducing. But also most important, the way forward, I think, the women themselves should stand up and be counted together, not as one. I find that sometimes the biggest enemy that the woman has is the woman herself. There is so much, even us men, when we're trying to support the woman, you find there's a lot of pull her down syndrome, pull her down. The same woman will come and the one woman men are pushing to go up, the women will come and pushing, trying to bring down. Don't you know this? Don't you know that? So a woman tends sometimes to be the biggest enemy to a fellow woman going up, not knowing that when one woman goes up, another will also be pulled up. An example in Zambia, our speaker, Madam Nelly Muti, is a woman. She was a lawyer. She last year, early this year, 5 months ago, she won an award at the Commonwealth as the best speaker. The whole world was clapping for her. In the Zambian parliament, just 2 weeks before we adjourned last week, there was a protest over a ruling she made. She made a ruling against some members and suspended that member for a month. There was a walkout in parliament by the opposition, and some women also walked out, about 10 women. So I went on media and said, a woman walking away on a fellow woman, instead of standing for a woman, even if she's made a mistake, at least the women should stand by the woman. So I had this experience in Zambia where women walked away on the speaker who is a woman. So women support, men will support you guaranteed, but support yourselves number one and don't put each other down. Conclusion of my presentation is that to every successful man, there is a woman in front. Before they used to say there's a woman behind, but I would say there's a woman in front. She mentions that the richest man in Africa is Aliko Dangote. You'll find that there is a woman in front. Actually, might be women. He's Muslim, and I think he may be polygamy. So women in front. So for a man to succeed, you find that a woman has to be alongside. I was a bachelor for a little longer than I should have been, but I can tell you that the moment I got married, a lot of success started coming up. So a woman helps. Here is a quote I got from online. Women never apologize for being a woman. Never apologize for being a woman. The world needs strong women. Each time a woman stands up for herself, she stands up for all women. I've been very honored to have been part of this memorable women conference. Zikomo, obrigado, merci beaucoup, asante sana, thank you, amasagalelo. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sampa. Let's give him another round of applause. Thank you so much. We had our ears out waiting to hear that. Are you interested to have another child? Because 8, I think 8 are enough now. Thank you so much. At this juncture, we're open for some interventions. We're open for interventions. We started with Dr. Interfaith and Honorable Sampa. So you introduce your name, you say the question I'm going to ask to Dr. or Honorable Sampa, but please let's stick to time. Don't start another presentation. Just go straight to your point, your question, your comment, so that we should keep up time. So I start with Honorable Sandra, then you, then yeah, let's take those 3. Thank you.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je vais juste réagir par rapport à la conclusion de l'honorable Sampa sur Women Stand for Women. Soyons honnêtes envers nous-mêmes. Ce n'est malheureusement pas toujours le cas. Je parlerai de mon expérience personnelle en tant que députée parlementaire. À l'île Maurice, nous sommes à peu près 12 femmes au sein du Parlement et je vous parle de 12 femmes représentant la majorité gouvernementale. Et quand on parle de Women Stand for Women, it's not real in the real reality, because sometimes women fight against women, and they are the first to fight against women, unfortunately. And this is also the truth. For example, when we are at the National Assembly, since we've decided, for example, Honorable Subhashni and myself, before being politician, we were public figures. We were already public figures. We were media, radio.
Pessoas públicas, trabalhávamos no...
كنت أيضا عندما قمنا باستضافة.
Quando é uma figura pública,
because you've which party in which party you are, and those who don't agree with that party don't like you anymore, and they start bullying you. They start bullying you on social media, they start bullying you, even the media bully you, because you were a public figure, everybody loved you, and now some of them don't love you, don't like you anymore, because they don't like this political party. They try to mix-match everything. Malheureusement,
unfortunately, when we are on social media, we have opposing party, women opposing party that insult or smear women in the government. And we lack support from women generally. And women rather take side on with women that are talking bad against us or are denigrating us or smearing us. So unfortunately, we are together in difficult times, but our adversaries, that means women are against women or women are their own adversaries on social media platform. I'm talking about Mauritius. I don't know what's the case for other countries in Africa. But what is sad is that we have on social media women attacking women, women insulting women. When we talk about political violence, well, women are perpetrators of political violence against other women. And this is a sad reality, and that we need to put forward to sensitize women from the PAP. Thank you very much.
Merci de m'avoir accordé la.
Thank you for giving me the floor. My name is Ndezindeta. I'm a senator from the Republic of Burundi, and I'd like to thank the interim chair of PAP and everyone that is participating here. I don't have a question, just to want to share experiences from my country. In my country, regarding gender-based violence and regarding this gender-based violence, we passed a law to protect victims from gender-based violence, which is a very important instrument to eradicate this scourge. Other strategies have been taken at the sectorial level, particularly the gender guidelines and the national strategies to fight against gender-based violence, and a network as well at every level. We also have centers where we take care of women victims of gender-based violence. We have looked at different cases, and we also nominated focal point in charge of gender-based violence at the judicial level. And we also have a early warning system when there's this type of violations, particularly for gender-based violence. And as a parliamentary woman, I think we can bring about a positive change. But of course, we need to know about our challenges. Being a woman, we are in economic strength. And we, as women, we look at things on the long term and we try to find solutions to our problems. So parliamentarian women play an important role. They are able, like we've mentioned it yesterday, women are the future of Africa. And we are very strong. We have to be aware of that. As we mentioned, we have to support each other. Thank you.
Recognized, it was, yes.
Obrigada. Eu sou deputada Carla Lima, venho de Cabo Verde. Antes de mais, agradecer ao presidente em exercício do PAP pela realização desta conferência, também à presidente da Women Caucus, que muito se empenhou para que estivéssemos aqui hoje. Eu gostaria de, não vou fazer uma pergunta direta a nenhum dos conferencistas, aqueles que se sentirem com vontade de responder o podem fazer. Eu gostaria, primeiramente, reforçar aquilo que disse a minha colega das Maurícias, relativamente à questão do não apoio de outras mulheres. Falou-se muito aqui na necessidade de criação de redes, de mulheres se apoiarem, mas pela experiência que eu tenho no meu país, pelo menos, isso não acontece, principalmente quando estamos a falar de mulheres de partidos políticos diferentes. Quando vemos episódios de violência,
is verbal or psychological support from other
que nós devemos trabalhar.
parliaments. So this is a gap that we need to overcome because it is important. She also alluded to something very important, which is the move from a public figure to the parliament. I also have this experience because I was a journalist. And the perception that people have changed overnight. And anything that is part of your professional or your private life becomes a subject of dispute and also elements to be used to attack you. Another thing that I think that it's for paramount importance and which should be subject to a recommendation is the violence against women in the media. Nowadays, most of the violence over women that opt for to take a political path is through the internet by anonymous individuals or by well-known individuals that believe that they have an impunity if they attack through the media, the social media. This is a very serious dimension because it is an emotional violence against women that very often, regardless of how strong she is, she's unable to defend herself because things that are divulged, put into the media, is very quickly replicated, disseminated, and women and people do not want to be a victim of malinformation or even being insulted. I would end by saying that women that work in politics, they work hard and they show their capacity, their strength. But my question is, why women have to display this strength, have to prove themselves to be strong, whilst women do not, men do not have to do the same? Thank you. Muito obrigada. Olhando para as três intervenções, a maior parte delas foram mais comentários, mas gostaria de devolver a palavra portanto, gostaria de dar a palavra a mais 4 pessoas, gostando que sejam breves. Muito obrigada, madame. Vou apresentar-me e vou direto ao ponto. Primeiro, obrigado às duas apresentações. Eu sou a deputada acima. Claro que eu fiquei interessada pelas apresentações e estão corretas. As mulheres no Parlamento podem trazer algo positivo para as mulheres em geral. Por que é que eu digo isto? Eu vou partilhar uma pequena experiência e fazer recomendações ao Papa. O que eu gostaria de partilhar convosco é uma história de sucesso, algo que fizemos com as mulheres parlamentares no meu país. Nós tivemos a oportunidade de criar um centro para escutar
the unit what we call Women Parliamentarians Unit. So what we do, we listen to women, what they have to say, what they're going through. We have doctors, we have legal advisors for women, and this is done pro bono. So since we created this center, we saw that gender-based violence and domestic violence have really decreased, and this unit has also ramifications for the region. We had conferences, we had training with schools, universities, and teachers to sensitize the youth about gender-based violence, that it's bad and we need to avoid it. So with the help of this NGO, we were really able to change the situation. And with this, we were able to enact 2 draft laws. These 2 draft laws is against female genital mutilation and discrimination against women. And since then, since we have created that center, we see more and more women that come to this center because they know that they have people that protect them. So I would like to make a recommendation at the level of the Parliament, African Parliament, and the Women Caucus. We should have a platform where we can be able to change this type of experiences, where each one of us can bring a contributions to end gender-based violence, and maybe we can also go back to our country and help our women. So thank you for your kind attention.
Bonjour.
Greetings, and thank you for giving me the floor. I'd really like the presentation of Honorable Miles Sempa and regarding violence against women in political circles. I really like that presentation. And I'll always have questions in terms of the challenges women are facing and the situation we always talk about. And when we talk about violence, it is true that violence against women exists, but violence against men, it's a reality, of course. And it is related to the way we manage things in public spheres. We, as public entities, we have to ask our questions. The people that we want to serve, we have to understand what are their natural aggressivity, what are the specific needs they have, and if we do not ask these questions, we will lose our focus. Because being a woman is not a privilege, just a status. Why am I saying this? Is because we need to ask ourselves the questions, particularly what we want at the end. Of course, we want more solidarity. That's ideal, but if we don't have solidarity, do we have to just sit down and wait? Because we have to serve a community, and this community place their confidence in us, and we have to respond to their needs, education, health, different kind of needs, economic needs, cultural needs, because we have to make sure that we understand this, because if we do not understand this, we're not able to succeed. So we have a country, we have to continue to serve, but of course we have to know what we are looking for, because the proposal and contribution that we make should be well structured, be it for women or for men. Otherwise, this proposal might be rejected. Also, when somebody likes something, they follow the movement without really asking the question. So we have to see what people like so that they might be able to follow us, so that we might also make sure that we respond to their needs. And of course, we've seen that many people are victims of assassination attempt or different kind of violations. And we want to reach higher heights. These actions should not be geared to one person only, but to many people. So we need to make sure that we protect the communities, the children, or vulnerable people. And we need to carry out a lot of sensitization so that we can change mindsets and give them the opportunity to have power. And all the women that are here are not here by chance, or not because they are women, because these are persons that woke up every morning to go to work, or because they're undertaking specific activities, or they're trying to respond to the needs of their communities, or because they were appreciated in their communities. It's not because they're women, because these are people that can bring about a difference. So let's work more on added value to our populations, to our communities, to our states, to our continent, instead of trying to have a better status. This is my small contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Esther Passaris, Member of Parliament from Kenya. First of all, I'd like to congratulate our colleague Samba for daring to speak at a women's conference and tell us about what he thinks about us. It's quite bold. Now, when we talk about women being their worst enemies, I think that is a male myth. We do have women that turn against women, but I mean, and I've had the same experience, but equally we have men turning against women. So the expectation that women will never turn against a woman or men will never turn against a man is wrong. We will always have enemies from both sides of the gender. So I think that for me, I and every woman I believe here would say the same, our best support has always been our sisters, and those are women. So I don't stand by that myth, irrespective of the fact that I have been also ostracized by women in Parliament. But I've also been ostracized by men, so I wouldn't want to say that women are my women's own worst enemies. When it comes to looking at women in terms of achievement, I don't think monetary success is a criteria to judge any gender. I believe that we should break it down. And Kenya has celebrated, and we have trailblazers being awarded every year, and women trailblazers. So when we look at the women who are successful, it's not about the money. I believe in Kenya, the richest woman is Mama Ngina. She was the wife of the first president. But when you come to successful women, we've got a woman Chief Justice. We've had 2 women running for president. We have Wangari Maathai, who has won the Nobel Prize. We've got Faith Kipyegon, who is the current champion for all races this year for the 1500. So we've got to look at women in terms of achievement in different. We've got women pilots flying aeroplanes today. So we've got to celebrate women in that respect. Now, when it comes to sexual gender-based violence committed against women, girls, and men, but mostly the perpetrators are male, we've got to ask ourselves, where have we failed? Obviously, the prisons and the police systems and the laws are not working because it's increasing. We are male-dominated. Most of the women in Africa now are single mothers. Men are planting seeds and absconding from their duties. So we have children that have no role modeling from good fathers. So I feel that when it comes to parenting, both women and men have to take a real responsibility, because when we leave it to the legal structures or we leave it to the religious structures, we are obviously not succeeding. So the question we should be asking is, how can we improve on co-parenting and parenting and addressing the challenges that are facing our youth that makes them turn into crime? With that, I'd like to say that as women, we have a big role to play, but that role politically is still mandated by men. Why do I say that? In my county, Nairobi, we have 17 constituencies and the woman representative seat. Out of the 17 constituencies, only one woman came in, and I'm the affirmative action seat representative. So 2 women in a county of 20 elected leaders, only 2 women. So the reason why we have this is because already the men hold the space, and our politics is so it's tokenism, and the men have the resources. So we have a lot of women leaders who try, but they fail because at the end of the day, even if the population is 50% women, 50% men, we somehow are not able to break it and make the women go out and vote their own. So that doesn't mean they are our own enemies. It's just that they're reached more by the men than they are by the women because of resources. So if we could find a way to balance the resources that are available. I'm so tired of all our donors coming to us and telling us they want to train us on how to become leaders. At the point of election, we don't need training on how to become leaders. We're already leaders. What we need is the resources to match our male counterparts. So if we can find a way to put that forward, through the women banks, through the women fund, we should be able to get more women into that political space. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You raised your hand, eh? Yes, please, take the floor.
Thank you. Most of what I wanted to say has already been spoken. I will only ask one question. Since when I was growing up, or most of us, we were always told the enemy of a woman will always be an enemy. And there are even words, an enemy of a woman, women hate each other, and all other words. How many times do we hear that? And how many times are we being able to refute that? So we have this young generation coming up with the words always surrounding them. You hate each other, women hate each other, women hate each other. So what do we need to do? Is to create more role models. It's to create more mentors for young generation, young women, to be told the opposite. Let us be there for them, but that cannot end what we have always experienced. All that what women need is economic empowerment. We have had laws in place that so far have limited women access to resources. The land laws, we have varieties, number of laws so far that disinherit women, that prevent them from inheriting, even owning land or other major means of production. How far have we gone as far as our parliament is concerned, as far as changing laws, getting involved in changing all the laws that so far we can empower women? In a nutshell, if you are economically disadvantaged or disadvantaged, you are more likely to be abused. You are more likely to face the violence we are talking of. Unless we are liberated, that's when we can stand firm. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'd said I would take 3, but why should a woman refuse another woman to speak? So I'm going to take 2 more, or 3 more, at least 3 more, last 3 more. 1, 2, and 3. At least I've done, I'm democratic, eh? We are done. After those 3, we are closing the session. Thank you so much.
Excuse me. Merci, Madame.
Thank you, Madame Victoria. I see a lot of women requesting to take the floor. We have a schedule, and some of us are traveling tonight. We have another session, and you can take the floor on the next session, because if we're going to give the floor to everyone, we will delay our program, and we'll have the closing ceremony that is waiting for us. So we have a lot of things on the table. So if you have precise questions regarding to the presentations, yes, but if you have contributions or comments, you can wait until the next session and submit your comments. Thank you.
Aligned to that, I think those who are recognized, the next session, you'll be the first one to speak. So at this juncture, quickly, let me give 2 minutes each to Dr. Tafesi and Honorable Sampa to make your closing remarks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. At this moment, it becomes obvious for me that the honorable participants are more aware and more conscious on gender-based violence than me. Really, I learned so much from the comments and formally just forwarded here and informally, individually told me during our break session. So far as I have grasped, there is no question, but it's comment. From the comments that I learned, some of the issues which I tried to convey during my presentation, especially call for action of the honorable parliamentarians in protecting gender-based violence is already started and it's on progress in Africa. It's really very pleasing to know this. As I heard from some honorable parliamentarians' comments, like from the Burundi and also from the Kenya and women participants, parliamentarians, are doing well. For instance, in Burundi, which is a very good example of trying to make a very good legal framework which could manage the ongoing gender-based violence. They have already passed a law and it's enacted. It's very good. That has to be learned from, and that has to be implemented in other parts of the Africa too. And gender guidelines and strategies is already put in place. It's also very good. As also Center for Take Care of Victims. It's already operational, as I learned from the comments. This is also a very good example. I think one of the very important benefit of such kind of gathering is experience sharing. So taking note of the other participants' contribution and trying to apply based on the context of your environment is very, very, very important. So having just learned this all, I'm really satisfied with the discussion. In the future also, I'm very much ready to work with you to contribute in research and consultancy and training if I have given the opportunity. Having said this, I thank you for the opportunity to present my few points here. Thank you so much.
Only because I was behind, so I'll respond here. Starting with the Honorable from Mauritius or Seychelles. Mauritius. Yes, I agree. The era of social media political violence is even more now against women because of social media bullying. Immediately, what came to my mind is an incident that happened in my country. My president, His Excellency Hakainde Hichilema, HH, has been pushing with the IMF to give us grants because we are highly indebted, to give us grants and loans. So I was ever in Washington, and each time you'd meet the IMF boss, it's a lady, a woman. So he would meet at gatherings, they would hug, and my president interpersonal skills are quite high. And with no time, a loan was given to Zambia by the IMF 2 weeks ago. The social media went on bullying the president, that's the girlfriend. That's why she gave him the loan. Then we had a press conference a week ago talking about many things, but he then brought that up, that you bully so much on social media and accuse me that the IMF lady is my girlfriend. That even brought problems in my home. My wife was asking me about it. So that's just an extent of how social media bullying can take us leaders. My experience also, each time I recommend a woman for a promotion or promote a woman, the first thing that comes on social media bullying me, that's the girlfriend, that's the girlfriend. So I agree with your sentiments, Honorable. But take a leaf from Zambia, African countries, because in Zambia we've passed anti-bullying law, social media anti-bullying law. So now we are, if somebody bullies me, we are able to identify them, and I've taken 1 or 2 people to court for criminal bullying. The laws are there, and people can be jailed in Zambia. That's the only way. So that when people bully with lies, if it was me who bullied me that the IMF lady is my girlfriend, I know that person, I'll sue them for criminal defamation. The law, if they can't prove it, they can be jailed. The other question was from Honorable Esther from Kenya. Doing me a favor and taking a video. Thank you, Honorable. Asked for it. But she brought up a good point. I think in my presentation I said a woman is the biggest enemy to the woman progress. She pointed out that it's not the norm always. Even the men pull down the women. So I concede it's not a blanket statement that women are brought down just by women. So there are some cases that men do that. I agree, Honorable Esther. The last one from Honorable Member from the Western Caucasus, political violence, she brought it up, said political violence is not only on women, it can be on men also. Now I declare interest, I will not discuss that because I'm a man. I'll take up that topic to a men's conference, if it at all it will be called someday. Finally, and as my last statement, I must say that my goal for 2024 is to be able to greet in all African languages. So last week I was in Kinshasa, and I'm going to say thank you in Lingala, which I picked up. So thank you in Lingala is Matondo. So Matondo, thank you. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Sampa. And indeed, this is where we end our session 5. And at this juncture, let me hand over the floor to our chairperson, Honorable Amina Tijajiaya, to take us to the last session. You've been a nice, interactive members. Thank you so much. I end my chairmanship. Thank you.
مساء الخير مجددا. نحن الآن في الفقرة الأخيرة أو المناقشة الأخيرة من برنامج المؤتمر. ننتقل الآن
people and the right of African peoples. At the beginning, we salute the progress happening in the women right. This pact had made many things to protect women and girls, and also to create awareness for the legislations and the facts on the ground that facing women and girls in the continent. Also, we will talk about the role of women in executing the African policies, and the role of parliamentarian women to pursue to sign the African Charter for human rights and the right of peoples, which had been emanated from the African Committee for Human Rights and the CSOs, African CSOs, 11 July 2003 in Maputo, in the summit of the AU. Among 54 African countries, only 44 countries that signed, and some of them adopted with some reservations, and others still not signed and adopting it. Our role here, which we can play, is how to pressurize the countries that they didn't sign the declaration, even if with some reservations in some articles. Now I will go directly to the sisters. All of them are women, and I'm proud to. I am from the CSOs. I am a fighter of the women rights, and also I established an organization in Chad to care of the women, and now I am in the parliament representing women, and I am very glad to guide this session, and all the presenters are from the CSOs, which represent the various African regions. At the beginning, I will start by Halima Al-Min Jimi' from the Chad country, from the CSOs. She represents the Chadian CSOs. Halima, you have the floor.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
God bless you. Hi, the Honorable Vice President of the African Parliament, the Presidents of PAB, the Excellencies. My name is Halima Lamin Jum'a. I'm very glad representing the Chadian CSOs and presenting here in front of you the PAB 14th conference for the women rights. My presentation is related to the following topics: to sign the Maputo protocols, how to raise awareness for the challenges or the gaps between the legislations, how to the role of women to pressurize to sign the Maputo declaration, also the initiative in signing it in global manner. Also the role of our country. There is a talks just right now to be part of these instruments to make to complement each other. And one of the very important instruments are the African Charter for Human Rights and African Peoples, which is comprehensive rights in the political and social affairs to bring equality. Here we do have some of the CSOs which pressurize the government to sign this declaration. Among them, our organization, the women organization Chad. Also, we do have a committee containing some of the MPs coordinating with other institutions to pressurize to adopt this declaration. Also make awareness in the localities for the importance of this declaration and the women rights in a whole. Also setting up a committee that can help the government to study the declaration of Maputo protocols, and the state go in steady steps for the impediment of human rights, even if they do have some reservations for some articles. The government has the right to adopt with the reservations, with some reservation. Also, creating awareness for the role of media, also how to cooperate the media, and how to make awareness among them for the declaration, and how to associate them to make a pressure on the government to sign this declaration. The recommendations is among it to make a good coordinations with other related entities, and creating a working group that contain, among others, the parliament's members and the media people or media persons to make discussion with the government or the state organs. Also making a committee for the monitoring mechanism to make success for this initiative, also making a network that contains more CSOs which has a say in the women affair, also make an alliance to attain the rights of women and their privilege. The voice of women had been established from the Attijani Yahya, and it is one of its kind to support the Mobutu Declaration and also pressurize the government and the state to sign this declaration, even if with some reservations. So we hope that in the near future to make a clear deadline or timetable with the MPs and the women caucus and the media groups to declare this network to make the future of Chadian women more bright. There is a role for the CSOs for the improvement of the communities and take care of the workless people and assisting in the girls' educations and also in various economic and social problems, and also to sensitize the general policies. Also, our organization, the Voice of Women, one of the CSOs in Chad, that we do have policies and programs. We do embark on it. From our objectives is to educate women and girls, especially my daughter go to school. In this program, the organization had making some creating awareness for the guardians to let their daughters go to schools. Also 16 days or activities to make the common aware of the violence against women. Also, in the Voice of Women organization Chad, we went to the rural area to hear what is happening to the women from the violence that they incurred. Also, we make a center or we established a center for the victims of violence. Also, the organization make a campaigns in many of the regional states to share with them the importance of the elections. Previously, the women in rural areas, they don't have any role in elections. So we went to some areas near to the capital to raise awareness of women to make their contribution and share in the election to know their rights. Also, we do have communicated with so many organizations and CSOs for how to empower women. This is all what I want to say, and thank you very much for your kind attention. Thank you very much, Halima. I want to make the audience aware that Chad is not signed yet this declaration or charter. Now, Halima, is not a representative of the government or the parliament. She is from the Chadian CSOs, and she guarantee us that the Chadian CSOs embarking on strategies that pressurize the government to sign the protocols of Maputo, even if with some reservations. She stated that the CSOs and to establish a committee, a shared committee of CSOs plus parliaments and media persons to make awareness and pressurize the concerned bodies to sign this protocol. So, this alliance, through it, we can pressurize the government to sign this protocol. Now I will invite my sister, Madame Koya Shabir Wilfred. She's from Uganda, and she represents the caucus of East, or the community of East. You have the floor. شكرا جزيلا سيدة الرئيسة. مع احترام مقاماتكم السامية، أنا اسمي وين فريد من يوغندا، أعمل على تمثيل منظمات المجتمع المدني. آسف لي. هذا موضوعنا اليوم يركز على النساء ومنظمات المجتمع الإنساني. أنا أود أن أهنئ لمنظمي هذا التجمع لدعوتي. دعونا نركز على كيفية تنفيذ بروتوكولات مابيوتو في المجتمعات الأفريقية. إذن هذا البروتوكول يضع هذا الموضوع يركز على تملك الفكرة من قبل النساء والرصد والتقييم. إذن المعلومات هي على الشبكة من جوجل. لم أتطرق إلى تقرير الدول أو أنظر إلى تقرير الدول. إذن بروتوكول مابوتو يتطلب التوقيع التوقيع المصادقة والتوطين، والذي يعمل على منح العديد من الميزات والحماية للنساء والبنات في أفريقيا. في أبريل 2023 الاجتماع السادس للتجمع شرق أفريقيا صادقوا على البروتوكول. إذن هذا البروتوكول هو آلية شاملة لتعزيز والرفع حقوق الإنسان، أيضا يعني إقصاء التمييز ضد النساء والبنات. هنا لدينا لاعبين كثر: الحكومات التي توقع ولكن لدينا أيضا منظمات المجتمع المدني الذي لديه اهتمام بحقوق المرأة في القارة الأفريقية. إذن معظم هذه الحقوق أو المناصرة هي تتماهى مع الموجهات البروتوكول. أحد هذه الأشياء هي المساواة الجنسية والصحة الإنجابية والتعليم للفتيات، أيضا محاربة العنف المبني على النوع. أتينا إلى كيفية التنفيذ يعني انتهي منه في مجتمع شرق أفريقيا. يعني أنا يمكنني أن أقول بقناعة أننا حضورنا هنا كنساء هو يعني مؤشر واضح أنه لدينا حقوق. أرى الكثير من البرلمانيات وهي يعني شواهد حية يعني أننا نعرف حقوقنا من أجل أن نكون قياديات. يعني نحن نتحدث هنا نيابة عن مصالح المرأة. إذن عندما نأتي إلى قضايا المناصرة أنا أركز على منظمات مجتمع المدني. هذه المنظمات في المجتمعات التي تحارب من أجل قضايا المرأة. أنا في الحقيقة نعمل على مناصرة تنفيذ بروتوكولات مابوتو، أيضا المواصلة في رفع الوعي لإحقاق حقوق المرأة. إذن أنا لن أذهب إلى التفاصيل. إذن منظمات المجتمع المدني منخرطة في حقوق المرأة والمناصرة. يمكنني إيضاح بعض النماذج والأمثلة. لدينا فيدا وهي تقاطع لثلاث دولة أو عاملة في ثلاثة دولة. في تنزانيا لديها أسماء متعددة، ولدينا في أوغندا وكينيا، وهي تعمل على المناصرة ويعني إضاءة المواضيع المتعلقة بحقوق المرأة. إذا ما عدت إلى يوغندا لدينا مركز للعناية بالعنف المنزلي وكيفية تعزيز حقوق المرأة والطفل.
Besides all,
إذن مع يوغندا، وإضافة إلى المعلومات على الشبكة، هنالك تضمين ورفع الوعي بحقوق الإنسان. هنالك معلومات مجمعة من الدول في هذا الشأن. إذن بالإتيان إلى جنوب السودان هنالك تحديات كثيرة، يعني بناء أو متأتية من النزاعات الحالية. إذن بقولي هذا وهذه المحاولات التي عملت والنجاحات المحرزة، بغض النظر عن ذلك لدينا بعض التقاطعات التي يعني تتداخل كتحديات لهذه البعثات وهذه المبادرات. إذن لدينا بعض التقاطعات الثقافية. لدينا أيضا التداخلات التي تعمل على إعاقة التحرك والسرعة الإجمالية للمرأة في المجتمع. إذا أنا يعني همي الأول هو كيفية تملك الفكرة وتوطينها. أنتم تقولون إنزال هذا الإعلان إلى أرض الواقع، أنتم تقولون أيضا أنه شامل، ولكن ماذا عن تملك المرأة لهذه الفكرة؟ نعم هنالك بعض يعني ولكن علينا العناية يعني إنزال هذه المبادرة والمعاهدة إلى الأرض مع المجتمعات في القرى والمناطق الريفية النائية. أنا سعيدة منذ الأمس إلى اليوم بعض الأعضاء ذكروا أن هنالك مجموعات تعمل على المناصرة لحقوق المرأة والفتيات في أفريقيا وفي شرق أفريقيا، في أفريقيا وشرق أفريقيا بصورة خاصة. إذن أنا أدعوكم أصحاب الفخامة والسعادة، أولئك المناصرين كثر، ولكن منظمات المجتمع المدني هناك ولكنها لا تستطيع يعني التعامل مع كل هذه المواضيع، وذلك بالتحديات التي تواجهها منظمات المجتمع المدني من قصور الموارد. ولكن أنتم كبرلمانيين وبرلمانيات ولديكم يعني التخويل والمساحة الواسعة للوصول للنساء من الأعلى إلى الأسفل أو الأدنى. إذن المستعرض من تنزانيا والذي يعني أسعدنا بوجود مجموعات تعمل على مواصلة المناصرة لحقوق المرأة. هنا المشكلة أن المرأة لا تعرف حقوقها. هنالك السياسات والخطط ولكن لا نعرف يعني حقوق، ولكننا لا نعرف حقوقنا. إذا أخذنا هذه الفكرة من أعلى إلى تحت وأخذنا هذه الرحلة، وإذا بدأنا هذه الرحلة قد تنتهي في أسبوع، شهر أو سنة، ولكن إذا بدأنا المسير يعني وجودكم الشاهد الحي للدفع بهذه الفكرة. ماذا عن إخواتي اللائي لا يقرأن ولا يكتبن، وأنتم لديكم المنابر التي تعمل على ترجمة حقوقهن إلى واقع وإبراز هذه الحقوق لهن. لا تخفوا أنفسكن ويعني ناضلوا وكافحوا من أجل حقوقكن، قد يساعدكن الكثير من النساء الأفريقيات. شكرا جزيلا، بارككن الإله. Thank you for the representative of the Eastern African communities, which insisted on she made clear that the Eastern African countries, all of them ratified the Maputo Protocol, and the CSOs is very concerned of implementing the protocols and declarations that touch the gender issue and the violence against women and the productive health issues. Also, she assured us the CSOs in Uganda is creating awareness among the women, and he's very much engaging in the women issues. Also, there is a center specialized in the domestic violence and to promote the women rights and children rights. Also, she talked about the challenges facing the CSOs in Uganda. Now we will go to Brenda Kadanga U. She is from Malawi and she represents the Western Bloc of Africa. South, sorry. South, not West. مع احترام جميع مقاماتكم السامية، اسمي مادانجو، أعمل مع جو فان جو تشايلد. هذه منظمة شبابية تعمل على تعزيز حقوق الشباب مع الحكومة وغيرهم من اللاعبين لتحسين حياة الشباب. دعوني أبدأ بتقرير كيف نبدو كتجمع جنوبي من بروتوكولات مابوتو. الإقليم الجنوبي فيه 10 دول وكلهم على 10 دول واحدة فقط بوتسوانا هي التي لم توقع على بروتوكول مابوتو. الدول الموقعة هي 4 منها يعني عملت على توطينه والغير لا. في بلد ملاوي نحن صادقنا على الإعلان الأفريقي حول حقوق الإنسان والشعوب الذي يتضمن أيضا حقوق المرأة في أفريقيا. في مايو 2015 كان لدينا كثير من الناشطين الاجتماعيين ورفع الوعي حول تنفيذ بروتوكول مابوتو، ولا يعني عمل كورسات يعني عمل على إخراط العديد من أصحاب المصلحة الأكاديمية القضاء ويعني الشرطة وخلق الوعي. ما أيضا عملنا على النظر إلى التشاريع وترابطها مع حقوق المرأة في أفريقيا. إذن مواطنة المرأة نعمل على ضمان أن المرأة هي في مقدمة الصف في لجان الرصد والتقييم عبر التجمعات النسوية والتجمعات النسوية المعنية بالمرأة. ختاما، النساء البرلمانيات لديهن يعني دور مهم بما وأنهن يعني على صلة بالحكومات ودفع هذه الحكومات للمصادقة وتوطين بروتوكول مابوتو. الأعضاء البرلمانيات النساء يجب أن يكون لديهن ميزانية تعمل على الرصد وتقييم وتنفيذ اتفاقية مابوتو. ختاما، شكرا لكم لإعطائي هذه السانحة لإبداء رأيي. أسمحوا لي شكر كل الأعضاء الذين عملوا على يعني عمل العروض والأوراق البحثية، وليس لي كلمات أشكركم عبرها إلا أن أقول لكم مجددا شكرا جزيلا. Thank you, Brenda. Of course, Brenda also assured us in the beginning. She said that she is from a youth organization that promote the rise of youth and empowerment of youth life, and she ensured us that how the South Bloc, which consists of 10 countries, 9 of them have ratified. Only one country is not signed, which is Botswana, the country of Botswana. We request the Southern Bloc to make sensitization with the Parliament of Botswana to pressurize them to adopt this protocol. Also, the Malawi Republic had ratified the African Charter on Human Rights, human and people rights of African, and Maputo protocols are part of this declaration, and the link is between the and the between the laws, the local and the international laws, also how to pressurize the government to adopt the international conventions and implement it. Also, she spoke about the difficulties and the challenges in the financing aspect in the CSO's sphere to monitor these protocols. Now we will take the last part of this session, which is the discussion, and we request the audience if there is any questions, comments related to this declaration or the presentations that we listen to from the CSO's representatives. You are welcome. Any interventions, questions, you are welcome. Burundi, Anita. شكرا جزيلا لإعطاء الفرصة. فيما يلي بروتوكول مابوتو دور البرلمانيات النساء للمصادقة وتوطين وتنفيذ البروتوكول. بالنسبة لي ما علينا فعله في هذا الإطار، علينا إعداد لجنة وطنية لتنسيق هذا الأمر، وكل دولة وإقليم عليه العمل في هذا الإعلان. نحن في بوروندي لدينا حوار وطني لتحفيز قضايا المرأة، ونحن نبصر بهذا لبعض الدول التي ليس لديها مثل هذه الآلية. نحن نعمل بالتنسيق مع الدول الأخرى، وصممنا يعني مجلس رئاسي لمناصرة قضايا المرأة وتنفيذ اتفاقية أو بروتوكول مابوتو، ونود تغيير نمطية التفكير والمواعين الثقافية، بما وأن الكثير لا يعرفون شيء عن هذه البروتوكولات. هنالك مقاومة ثقافية لهذه المساواة الجنسية، لذا نود تشجيع البرلمانيين أن يتابعوا ما يحدث أو ما يثار بشأن هذه البروتوكولات. صافية المحترمة صافية. شكرا جزيلا سيدتي الرئيسة. فقط أود أن أخذ الفرصة ولدي توصية هنا. إذا الدول في شرق أفريقيا التي لم توقع هي 4، وهذه الدول نود تشجيعها للتوقيع. قد يكون لديها تحفيز. في دولتي يعني وقعنا ولدينا تقرير رفعناه. نحن وقعنا وصادقنا في 2003، يعني عمل على تبني هذا القرار والتنفيذ بدأ في 2005. إذن يعني نحن لدينا مدة ونحن ننتظر اكتمال التوقيع. وهذا هذا البروتوكول يعمل قيمة مضافة للنساء، لذا علينا نحن كنساء برلمانيات عمل لجنة مصغرة يمكنها مناقشة هذه المسائل مع الأقاليم الأفريقية ال5 وإظهار المنافع التي يمكن أن تتأتى من هذه الاتفاقية بالنسبة للمرأة. نحن نشجع الدول يعني إبراز تحفظاتها إذا كان لديها، ولكن التوقيع مهم. ويعني برلمان عموم أفريقيا لديه دور عظيم في هذا الناحية. صاحبة الفخامة من كينيا مارغت كمال من كينيا، أود أن أشكر المستعرضين لتحليل بروتوكول مابوتو. وسؤالي في العرض الفائت حول العنف ضد المرأة. أنا أود أن أشكركم جميعا كنيابيين وتعرفكم على الاتفاقيات التي وقعت عليها حكوماتكم وما إذا كانت تنفذ أم لا. بالأمس تحدثنا عن الآليات اللي يمكن عبرها تتبع النجاح المحرز عبر رفع التقارير. بالنظر إلى ذلك أود أن أرجعكم إلى الاجتماع أو يعني الإجماع الماضي بالنسبة لقيادة المرأة، بنود هذه الاتفاقية كيف يمكن غرسها على الأرض، و يعني ارتباطها بالعنف ضد المرأة. بالرغم من بعض الدول يعني تعمل جيدا في هذا الاتجاه. أنا أود التحدث عن شيء لماذا لا تظهر النساء أنفسهن؟ علينا إبراز أنفسنا النساء في القياديات. هم من المفترض يعني هم لا يقودون النساء فقط، هم قائدات. يعني كقائد أنت تقود الجميع رجال ونساء، ونحن كبرلمانيين قائدات ولا نقود فقط النساء. نحن الفكرة التي تأتت لنا من كلام زامبا، نحن كنساء علينا الاعتماد على النساء عندما نكون قادة. ليس فقط النساء بل على الجميع. إذا كنت قائد أنت قائد للجميع، ويجب أن يكون لديك يعني موافقة الجميع. عندما كنت رئيسة المجلس النيابي في في بعض الأحيان في الكوفيد وقبل الكوفيد البرلمان كان يعني يود عمل يعني إذا كان هنالك هجوم ضدي من قبل يعني بعض الرجال، ولكن النساء يعني تآزرن وتعاطفن معي. إذا أن تكون قيادي إذا يعني لا نخص أنفسنا بالنساء فقط، نحن قائدات ونقود الجميع وكسب الجميع إلى جانبنا بما وأن هذا الأمر يساعد. إذا أنا أعتقد أن جملة يعني النساء ضد النساء، لا، أنا في اعتقادي عندما تكون عضو في البرلمان لدي أخواتي اللائي يقودن يعني التجمع النيابي القانوني، ويعني البرلمان الكيني هو يعني مثال جيد لبقية الدول الأفريقية. ونحن كقائدات نساء علينا الوقوف واعتبار أنفسنا قائدات الجميع. يعني تلك النسوة اللائي ذكرنا من قبل الدكتور المستعرض، إذا كنا يعتمدن فقط على النساء لم يكن يجدن هذا النجاح العظيم. إذا علينا التعويل والاعتماد على الجميع. شكرا جزيلا وآسف للإطالة.
Thank you. I think there is no one can or want to have any intervention or questions. We have there is no any question raised from the sisters. My sister from Burundi is one of the country that does not approve the treaty, and she's not available in the in this session. So what we can do, the system from Burundi, as I said in the beginning, Burundi is one of the country that not signed the protocol of Maputo, and she didn't mention anything. How can we push forward? And she was she raised also how can we coordinate and work in collaboration with women, and she's a parliamentarian, and we request her to have her role as a parliamentarian and raise the awareness and among the parliamentarian members, and also help the civil society organization to receive the approval from the Burundian government. And the representative Safia also raised the Djibouti have approved the protocol on 2013, but before 20 years. And the beginning, the protocol was approved in 2003, and Djibouti is one of the countries who signed the treaty, and Djibouti is one of the country who assigned this treaty, and we need to see the achievement, and we believe that the achievement is already seen, and you are encouraging the other countries to sign the protocol. There is 4 countries who do not sign this protocol, and the sister from Kenya had intervention in how can we connect between the how can we implement the charter, and there is different articles in the charters, and this include all the issue related to women and girls regarding education and even the can ensure also the independence of women in the political space. And I would like to mention and pay your attention that this protocol have many benefits and also help us as a woman to fulfill different solution to have many solutions for many challenges. And we request all countries, especially those who do not assign the protocol, to assign it. And also want to remind the Burundian, we and Women Caucus and PAP, we are contacting with the management who are working with the gender as the administration that's working with awareness raising and encouraging the country to assign the protocol. And this administration is trying to push forward and convince the country to sign the treaty. I think you can work more in Burundi to make some meeting with the higher officials or organizations who are working with the human rights and women rights, and also to encourage to finally, I would like to thank you for your participation and intervention in this session. And now we can say that we reached to the final. We can go to the lunch, and then after the lunch we can back and have the closing ceremony of this conference. The closing ceremony will be after lunch.